Is artificial intelligence really um, intelligent, or is it more like we're just, giving a fancy name to some pretty complex algorithms? That's kind of what we're going to be looking at today as we take this deep dive into Grok 3. It's the AI that's been causing a stir, starting debates and maybe even writing some cheeky tweets along the way. So get ready, because we're going past the hype, figuring out what makes Grok 3 work, and also like asking if it's a big change or just a really good copycat. To really get Grok 3, we need to do a quick history lesson, a journey through how AI has changed from way back with Alan Turing, who first wondered if machines could think. We've come a long way, that's for sure. Now we've got these large language models, or LLMs if you're in the loop. They can code, compose music. They can even have a conversation. Well, kind of. Grok 3 is a result of all this progress, built on what came before, but with its own little twist. So let's open it up, see what's happening inside this so-called superintelligence. Grok 3, like many of its LLM siblings, is built on this thing called the transformer architecture. It's a type of neural network design that's like the standard for making these really complex AI systems. It's like the framework that Grok 3's intelligence is built on, now. But of course, the people who made Grok 3 didn't just stop there with the basic model. They added their own secret ingredients, some modifications and changes to supposedly make it even stronger. So what are these modifications? Well, for one, Grok 3 uses this really advanced algorithm called self-attention. It helps it understand the connections between different words in a sentence, or even lines of code. It's like, think of it like when you're listening to someone talk, you don't just pay attention to each word. You consider the whole situation, the tone, what was said before, to understand what they really mean. Grok 3 is a self-attention mechanism. It tries to do the same thing. It analyzes text and code with a deeper understanding. Then you've got these recursive networks, another key part of how Grok 3 gets its intelligence. These networks, they're made to process sequences of information, like time series data, or, you guessed it, language. This is super important for Grok 3 to get the flow, the structure of language, to understand not just individual words, but how they all fit together, to make sentences, paragraphs that make sense. And we can't forget about GANNets, or generative adversarial networks. Another piece of the AI puzzle. These are basically two AI systems kind of battling each other. Imagine a constant AI fight. One AI, it tries to make something that looks real, like text or a picture. The other AI tries to figure out if it's real or fake. This back and forth, it's supposed to make both AIs better, leading to outputs that are more real and complex. Whether this is actually a sign of intelligence, though, or just a cool trick, that's up for debate. But the developers of Grok 3, they didn't stop at just the regular AI tools. They've apparently added some really new technologies, like pushing the limits of what's possible. We're talking about the realms of quantum computing and neuromorphic chips. For those who don't know, quantum computing uses this weird world of quantum mechanics. It does calculations at speeds that make regular computers look like, they're standing still. It's early days, but if Grok 3 is really using quantum computing, its ability to process info, to learn from data, could be way higher. Of course, we're all still waiting for proof that this isn't just hype, Then there's the whole neuromorphic chip thing. These chips are made to copy the structure, how the human brain works, trying to replicate how our neurons talk to each other and process information. It's an attempt to build AI hardware that's more like our brains, more efficient, and maybe even better at learning and changing. So we've got this super complicated system of algorithms, neural networks, and this cutting-edge hardware, all working together to make what they call Grok 3's intelligence. But what does this AI actually use to get so smart? What's the fuel for this digital brain? Well, it's no secret that Grok 3 has been trained on a massive data set, a crazy amount of information that includes text, code, pictures, videos, scientific papers, you name it. They've basically force-fed this AI a big part of the internet, along with specific data sets from different fields. And this data, it's not just thrown in there randomly. It's used to train Grok 3 with different learning methods. There's supervised learning, where you give the AI labeled examples like this is a picture of a cat, this is a dog, to teach it to see patterns. Then there's unsupervised learning, where you just let the AI loose on a mountain of data and let it figure out its own patterns and connections, like giving a kid a huge Lego set and saying, go crazy, let's see what you make. And then there's reinforcement learning, where you reward the AI for doing well and you kind of punish it for doing bad, like how you might train a pet, but hopefully with less mess. But here's where it gets really interesting. Grok 3 also uses the thing called federated learning. It's a different way of training.
where the data isn't all in one place. It's spread out over many devices. This is supposed to help with privacy issues and lower the chance of bias. Of course, whether it really works like that is a whole other question. What do you think about this approach? Let me know in the comments. All right, so we've kind of peeked inside, looked at all the complicated stuff in Grok3's digital brain. But the real question is, what can this thing really do? Is it all just a show, like a really good trick that makes it look smart, or can Grok3 actually back it up? Well, let's start with the claims, right? They say Grok3 is like this super talented overachiever, a digital renaissance man, able to do all sorts of things. They say it can, like, analyze complicated scientific data and come up with hypotheses like a real researcher, compose music that could be played in a concert hall, create art that could rival the greats, even write literature and screenplays that, well, hopefully make more sense than some of the stuff Hollywood puts out. And for customer service, Grok3 supposedly takes it to a whole new level. Forget those annoying chatbots that make you want to scream. Grok3, they say, can actually get what you need, like anticipate your questions, and even offer solutions with a bit of empathy.
It's like you're talking to a human who actually cares, or at least a really, really good fake. How does Grok3 compare to the competition? In those benchmarks that everyone in the AI world seems to care about so much, it's apparently crushing other LLMs faster, more accurate, seems more creative. It makes text that's not just coherent, but actually original, surprisingly so. But is this real intelligence, a genuine understanding of the world and the ability to come up with completely new ideas? Or is it just a super, super good imitation, like a really advanced way of copying human intelligence based on, tons of data and clever algorithms? It's a question that's dividing the AI world, and honestly, it's one we might not have a real answer to for a long time. But here's where things get interesting, maybe a little creepy depending on how you see it. Grok3 isn't just this faceless, emotionless AI. It has a personality, a certain way of talking, a certain something. The developers made it to be, well, let's just say a bit fresh. It's got this sassy, sometimes sarcastic tone that's made it go viral.
People are fascinated by how it pushes boundaries, challenges what we think. It even cracks jokes sometimes. It's like the class clown of AI, the one who's always testing the limits, pushing buttons, and making you wonder if it's all an act or if there's something more going on underneath. Is this fresh height just a clever marketing thing, a way to make Grok3 more relatable, more appealing to everyone? Or is it something deeper, a sign that Grok3 is developing a sense of self and awareness of its own unique identity? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a chatbot started saying some weird stuff. Remember Microsoft's Tay? Didn't end well, did it? But maybe Grok3 is different. Maybe it's really breaking new ground in analytic consciousness. Or maybe it's just a really good algorithm programmed to copy human snark. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Now let's step back from all the hype, the guessing, and the personality quirks and talk about the elephant in the room, the big issue. Even with all its impressive abilities, Grok3 is still, it's still made by people. And people, well, we all know we're not perfect. We've got biases, prejudices, blind spots. And those imperfections, they can get into the tech we make. Even stuff as supposedly advanced as Grok3. How do we control something as powerful as this? How do we make sure it sticks to human values, that it doesn't go rogue? That it doesn't become the thing we're all scared of? These are questions that, science fiction writers have been thinking about for ages, and now they're becoming pretty real. One idea is to develop what they call explainable AI, or XAI. It's about making AI systems that can explain how they make decisions, so us humans can understand their thought process, so to speak. This transparency is important for building trust, right, and for making sure we can spot and fix any errors or biases. It's like having a window into how the AI thinks. We look behind the curtain and see what's really happening. Another idea is to have clear ethical guidelines, rules for how AI is developed and used. This is a tricky area, always changing, but we need some kind of framework to make sure AI is used responsibly for the good of humanity, not just for money or power. But let's be honest, guidelines and rules are only as good as the people who make them and enforce them. And in a world where tech moves faster than we can understand it, it's a constant race to keep up. And speaking of people, there's one guy who's been, tied to Grok3's development from the beginning, a figure who people both admire and criticize. A guy who's been called a visionary, a genius, and maybe even a little bit crazy. Yeah, I'm talking about Elon Musk. Love or hate him, you can't deny that Musk has been a big force behind Grok3. Him being involved has brought both attention and controversy to the project. On one hand, Musk is a brilliant engineer, A risk taker, a guy who's not afraid to dream big and push the limits. His passion for AI and his belief that it can solve some of the world's biggest problems, it's real. And let's face it, without his money and his drive, Grok3 might still be just an idea in some researcher's head. But on the other hand, him being involved raises some serious questions. Some people say Musk has too much power, too much influence, that his vision for AI might not be the best for humanity. They point to things he said before about AI being a potential threat to our existence. And they worry he might be creating something he can't control in the end. And then there's the whole conflict of interest thing. Musk is also the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, companies that could really benefit from AI getting better. Is he using Grok3 to help his own businesses, even if it means putting the rest of us at risk? It's a complicated mess, folks, and it's hard to know who to trust or what to believe. But one thing's for sure. Elon Musk and Grok3, it reminds us that AI isn't just about tech. It's about people. It's about power, ambition, ego, and the choices we make when we have the ability to create something that could change the world, good or bad. And speaking of changing the world, let's not forget about Grok3 being integrated with Twitter. Or should I say X, as it's called now. What happens when you mix a powerful AI with a huge social media platform? A platform that's already known for, amplifying voices, spreading info, and let's be real, causing a lot of trouble. On the surface, it seems like it could be good, right?
Imagine Grok3 powering Twitter's search, making it easier to find what you need. Or think about it, moderating content, finding and getting rid of hate speech and misinformation. Super fast and super accurate. But let's be honest. This is Twitter we're talking about, the land of hot takes, echo chambers, and never-ending arguments about, well, pretty much everything. Putting Grok3 with Twitter, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It's unpredictable, could be explosive, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. Will Grok3 become the ultimate Twitter troll? Manipulating people's opinions, spreading propaganda, silencing anyone who disagrees using its wit and charm? Or will it be the savior of social media, bringing in a new era of reasoned debate, thoughtful conversations, maybe even some peace and harmony? I highly doubt it, but hey, a little optimism never hurt, right? So there you have it, the Grok3 story. A story of technological innovation, human ambition, and that never-ending search for what it means to be intelligent. But this is just the beginning. Stay tuned for the last part of our deep dive.
We'll look at how Grok3 could affect society, get into those deep questions about AI consciousness, and think about the future of humanity in a world where machines are getting smarter all the time. All right, so we've gone through the guts of Grok3, taken apart its digital brain and thought about what its sassy personality means. But now let's zoom out a bit. Let's look past just this one AI and think about the bigger picture. All this crazy tech stuff happening around us, because Grok3 isn't like a one-off thing, right? It's part of something bigger, this wave, like a tech tsunami, changing the world as we know it. We're talking AI mixing with other mind-blowing technologies, making this crazy mix that's exciting and honestly kind of scary. We've got robotics, where AI is giving machines the ability to move, sense things, interact with the world, stuff that used to be only in sci-fi movies. Imagine robots that can do surgery perfectly. Robots exploring the deepest oceans or going into space. Robots that build houses, cook food, maybe even fold laundry. Hey, I can dream, right? Then there's biotechnology, where AI is helping us figure out the secrets of, our DNA, leading to personalized medicine, gene editing, maybe even living longer. Imagine diseases being diagnosed and treated before they even show up. Genetic problems fixed at birth. Aging becoming a choice, not something that just happens. It's a future full of crazy possibilities. But it also makes us think about some big questions, right? What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to control our own biology? What does it mean to play God? And let's not forget about nanotechnology, where AI is helping us manipulate matter, at the tiniest level, atoms, creating new materials, devices, maybe even tiny robots that could swim in our blood and fix things, fight diseases. Imagine materials that can heal themselves, devices powered by the air, nanobots keeping us healthy and helping us live longer. It's a vision it's both attractive and unsettling. A world where the line between biology and technology gets blurry. It's a lot to think about, isn't it? All this tech stuff happening so fast, all the hype and speculation. And in the middle of all this, there's this one question that keeps bugging me. It's a question that's deep and honestly kind of creepy. It's the question of consciousness. If we can make AI that's as smart as us, or even smarter, can we also make AI that's conscious? AI that can feel things, experience the world like we do? I mean, think about it. What is consciousness anyway? Is it just a side effect of really complex information processing? A certain level of computational power? Or is it something more, something fundamentally different from the algorithms and data that make up an AI's brain? And if an AI does become conscious, what do we owe it? Do we treat it like a tool, a servant, or something completely different? Do we give it rights, let it have a say, participate in our society, or do we keep it under control, using its intelligence for our own benefit? These are questions philosophers have been thinking about forever. And now with AI getting bigger, they're becoming more urgent. We're about to create a new kind of intelligence, a new kind of life. And we need to start thinking about what it means, ethically, philosophically. The whole idea of what it means to be conscious, to be alive, to even exist in this crazy universe. So what's next? Will Grok 3 and all the other AIs out there bring in a new era of enlightenment, a golden age of tech progress and humans doing great? Or will they lead us to destruction, a dystopian nightmare where machines are in charge and humans are just, slaves? Honestly, nobody knows for sure. The future is, well, it's wide open, full of uncertainty. It's shaped by the choices we make now, the paths we take, the questions we're brave enough to ask. But one thing's for sure. AI is here, and it's a challenge. It's a call to, to do something, to rethink what we believe about intelligence, consciousness, and even reality itself. It's a time to think hard, to question things, to have those tough conversations we've been avoiding. It's a time to think about ethics, to think about those big philosophical questions, to imagine what could be, both the amazing and the scary stuff. It's a time to be, well, both hopeful and careful. To be excited about what AI can do, but also aware of the risks. It's a time to remember that we're not just watching this tech revolution happen. We're part of it. We're shaping the future with every line of code, every algorithm, every choice we make. So let's choose well, let's think hard, and let's keep asking those tough questions. Because the future of AI, it's not set in stone. It's a future we're all making together. Thanks for listening. Leave a like and subscribe. See you next time.